Hi, my name is Cody. I'm a software engineer here in San Francisco. And in this video series, I'm recreating Lovable using LangGraph. Now, the next thing we need to do is that when you send a message into our chatbot, all it can do is write HTML changes. So you can't ask it a basic question such as, what is your name, right? If we ask it this question, it's going to go and it's going to hit our prompt and it's going to just try to, rewrite the HTML page. So we actually need to add a little decision point in our agent so that it can understand, maybe it shouldn't always just overwrite the HTML code. So let's go ahead and just refresh this page to show you. So right here, it just overwrote the entire HTML page to answer a simple question. That's not the type of behavior that we want. So to do that, let's go ahead and open up our project here. Let's go to app.py. And one of the really cool things about large language models is that they can actually make really nuanced decisions like this. So for example, we could have a prompt that basically instructs the large language model to say, if the user is asking a question or just saying something, naturally, then don't actually make changes to the HTML page. Otherwise, make changes to the HTML page. So the naive, simple implementation of this is we can actually just go directly into our prompt engineering platform. So go to LangSmith, let's open up our prompts. Let's click on our prompt here. Let's edit in the playground. And let's actually say, we will include an existing HTML document. Let's say, if the user is asking a question and doesn't have intention to change the page, to create or change the page, then just respond naturally and answer their question. If they do intend to make a change or instruct you to build something, make etc., then respond exactly with the HTML document, or I'll say with the full HTML document content with no additional commentary. Let's go ahead and save this prompt. Let's hit commit here. And because our code is pulling from LangSmith prompt automatically from the client prompt hub, we actually don't have to make any code changes, which is another benefit of using LangSmith. Let's come up to here. Let's go ahead and say, what is your name? Let's go and send this in. And from here, it tells you, my name is LlamaBot. I'm here to help you modify and enhance your web pages. You can say, what are your capabilities? I can help you with a wide range of tasks, and okay, etc. So this is a very basic kind of naive implementation, but it works for what we're doing right now. One way to think about this that's really interesting is we actually are having a large language model make a decision about our software application. And this is fundamentally a whole new way of building software. Traditionally, you have to use you have to hard code in if and else statements and switch statements with very, very clear, well thought out cases that the programmer has to write. But this is actually the beginning and the start of agentic type system. LangGraph has a really great guide. If we look up LangGraph, here we go, concept/high level. And one of the ways, I never really understood the concept of a AI agent until actually reading this article. And one of the things that really stands out to me in this article is that we want large language model systems that can pick their own control flow. This is one definition of an agent. An agent is a system that uses an LLM to decide the control flow of an application. And they have this really interesting graphic where you can kind of think as the application and the project is running, as the program logic is doing, you can actually insert a large language model to make a decision as to what the application should do. A very basic version of this, which is what we actually just built, is called a router, where you can basically just say, hey, if there's this scenario, then route to this step, otherwise route to this step. That's a very, very basic start of what an agent system looks like. And then you actually have a whole other type of system where a large language model is much more in control of the overall control flow, and it actually just has a lot more autonomy. Now, one of the things that's nice with LangGraph is it tries to thread a needle where if you have just very basic decisions that the large language model makes, such as the one that we just had, then you can have a very high amount of reliability. If it's only making one or two of those decisions in your entire application, even though that's powerful, that's not quite making the full use of what an agent is capable of. And yet, the more control that you give the large language model, then the more you actually start to have challenges in terms of how your application works. In the next video, we'll expand on this idea by adding additional points at which the large language model decides to split. We'll also show why you have to, it can't all just be handled in one master prompt, especially as you start to branch into different decision trees. So we'll explore by trying to push our existing chatbot to its limits, see where it starts to fail, and then breaking out those failure points into brand new prompts, and we'll start to chain them together into turning this into a much more fully agentic type of system. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.